Hello there, I'm Roger Jones.
And I'm Annie Routley.
And we're here to tell you something about the Easter material that's available from CMM. I think there's a lot, isn't there, Annie?
There is.
So Annie's got a pile here, haven't you? So we're going to start. Oh, you're going to start with this one. My first ever musical.
Do you want to tell folks the way that this got written?
It was for the Easter concert at school. I was writing music for my school choir. Easter concert was coming up. I thought, let's have the Easter story. And actually, Annie, I don't know whether everybody knows, about the same time Jesus Christ Superstar was coming out. And he'd come, and I thought, that is a great idea. Let's make it a little bit more biblically accurate. So with the resurrection. Yeah, so we go through from Palm Sunday to Easter Day. It's a small cantata, not very demanding.
There's 12 songs, but I reckon I can teach it in an hour to a choir. It's a lovely one to do.
And it was written for children. Lots of adults do it,
Yeah.
and so on. You need perhaps a reasonable Jesus soloist to pull it off.
Yeah, that's helpful.
But it's not particularly demanding. So that's Jerusalem Joy. What else you got there?
Lovely. Well, Mary Magdalene, which some people say is your finest.
It's certainly one that I'm very fond of, Annie, because the Mary Magdalene character is the one who follows Jesus around and follows him to the cross. And so it's an Easter musical, although it could work at any time of the year. A lot bigger than Jerusalem Joy. And you've got a bigger cast and more demanding.
Yes. Some churches do this with costumes and lights.
Yeah, but actually, you recently rearranged the harmonies.
Oh, I did. There was a choir who only have, I think, 5 men in their choir. So I wrote an SA, soprano, alto and men version, so that they can all sing the same part in the men and give them more confidence.
So I guess that will suit some choirs, although in the actual book it's got SATB, it's got tenor parts as well. But if they want the bass part only, SAB part, they can get it from us.
Yes, yeah.
Right, that's
good.
Mary Magdalene.
Oh, and then a wonderful one, From Pharaoh to Freedom, which is the Passover, but not just the Passover in the story of redemption in the Old Testament, but actually what Jesus was doing at the Last Supper and on the cross in terms of redeeming all of us through his death.
You know, this was the first musical that I wrote after leaving teaching and going into full-time music ministry, so it's been about a little bit, but probably theologically it's one of the most thrilling, because this whole thing about Jesus ultimately being our Passover lamb.
And it contains what is not arguably, definitely Roger's finest work, which is his setting of the hymn Man of Sorrows.
Yeah, and of course that's what gets sung at the point where we reveal Jesus as the Passover lamb. Yeah, wow.
Lovely. Okay, now Snakes and Ladders. You might think that's an interesting name for a musical. It goes through the entire Bible, right from the Garden of Eden right through till after the resurrection. And I suppose the name for the title is that God has always put covenants in place with us. He's made covenants and said, if you follow me, if you love me, if you walk with me, it'll all go fine for you. But being human beings, God had put the ladders in place and we slithered down the snakes. So
we always find a way of doing that.
Yeah. He put another ladder in place, and that's what this musical is all about. So it goes through the entire Bible. But of course, Moses holds up the snake on a pole in the desert, and people can look at it and live.
Yes.
And later on, Jesus himself says, as
Son of
Moses
Man is lifted up. Yeah. Wow, it's so exciting.
Yeah, it is.
That, yeah. But quite a big musical if you wanted something really to get your teeth into.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Lovely. Pharisee.
Gosh, have I written so many? My word.
There's 24 altogether.
Yeah. But Easter, this is about Nicodemus.
Yes.
You know, he follows Jesus all around, doesn't he?
Yes.
And he's the one to whom Jesus came. He came to Jesus at night. He even asked, "What must you do to understand this? How can you do it?" And Jesus talked about being born again. We deal with that in the musical.
Yes.
But poignantly, of course, there's then the cross and then resurrection. And of course, between that, the cross and resurrection, Nicodemus appears again biblically.
Oh, yes.
It's with Joseph and Arimathea. And he gets the body of Jesus and puts it into Joseph's tomb.
they bought a phenomenal amount of spices to anoint the body, and of course the body
Wasn't
is
there?
not there by then.
But
yes.
absolutely. So Pharisee is very much deals with the resurrection as well.
And
I guess the Holy Spirit, doesn't it?
Yes.
Well, it probably deals with a lot.
In this, there is what is a solo song in the musical, See How He Dies on the Cross. But I've always loved that, and I did arrange it for choir. And that's on YouTube.
Coming up in another book we're about to talk about in
Yes.
a minute. But before we do that, there's yet another Easter musical.
Two Sisters and a Funeral. I love the title of that. This one, yes, tells the story of Mary, Martha and Lazarus. And, yeah.
Because it's one of the great John's Gospel pronouncements of I am, and where Jesus at this point is saying, I am the resurrection and the life. This was before the cross and the crucifixion, but it was when he was friends with Mary, Martha and Lazarus at Bethany. But
And he announced that to a woman, to Martha.
Yeah, it's resurrection.
Yeah. And I love the way that this one, the crucifixion and the resurrection, takes part within the song or a setting of the hymn, Abide With Me, which is beautiful.
Right.
Really beautiful.
So you haven't found any more musicals that we've got resurrection in?
Not specifically with the crucifixion and resurrection.
But there's another collection, something we brought out a year ago. We brought this out in 2022.
Many of them came out of the lockdown period.
Yeah, we were writing them during lockdown. But this is not a musical, is it, Annie?
No, this is a collection of songs on the theme of Easter and resurrection. And there are 16, 15 of them written by Roger, and the last one, the bonus track, is by Roger's grandson, Michael Jones.
Yeah. But really, it's not just telling Easter story. Yes, there are some of the songs that tell Easter story, a few that talk about the cross, so we deal with Passiontide, one or two like Jesus Lives,
oh, that's
and
great
Up
fun
From the
to
Grave
sing,
He Arose, which is absolutely blatantly Easter. But what I wanted with this collection is, even as we approach Easter and after Easter, it's all about Easter hope.
Yes.
It's about the reality of resurrection, not just telling the story of Jesus' resurrection.
There's one very, very moving song in it called Birthed in Tears. It's the only song I've ever known that addresses the issue of losing a baby through miscarriage, because that happened to one of our colleagues, and it had happened to Roger.
To us as well. And when I wrote that, it was a very moving moment when one of our colleagues lost a baby. But I thought, what musical is this going in? And ended up, no, it wasn't going in a musical, at least not so far, but in Songs of Easter, Easter Hope. So I guess in that book there's a whole spectrum, and we wanted to tell you about Songs of Easter, that even in your build-up to Easter and your follow-up to Easter, there's material there for congregations and music groups and choirs. There's quite a bit of four-part work in there.
There is, and it's very varied. Some of them are live. There's a very light-hearted one on the Emmaus Road, which of course is after Easter, when two disciples meet with Jesus on the road.
And it's a fun recording if you want to look at it on YouTube too. We've got Simon Goodyear and Louise Goodyear who have immense fun singing it and bring the duet to life. So very thrilled with that. So a lot of Easter material from CMM, and it's all available, isn't it, Annie?
Yes.
You can either get the hard copies of the books, we've got CDs of all of them, or you can go on YouTube and have a look at listen to the songs and see some of the artwork, or you can download or stream from iTunes and all the streaming things like Amazon and Deezer and so on. The big thing is what we wanted to say, that we at CMM want to help you celebrate Easter, want to help you to discover more of Easter. There's no better way to do it than through music, and we've got all this on offer. So thanks for joining us, and do keep in touch with us. Okay, God bless.